Sime Darby Berhad adopted integrated reporting in 2014. It was an initiative that was driven by our then Group Chief Financial Officer. We were invited by the Securities Commission to be part of the focus group to learn about the IR framework as one of the new initiatives and best practices in corporate reporting. We took on the challenge and became one of the pioneers in adopting IR in the country. As a leading multinational, we have always been committed to improving communication with our stakeholders. We want to lead the way in adopting best practices, and we see IR as the perfect opportunity to do this. Furthermore, information such as how we create value and generate returns to our shareholders, our midterm strategy, and business outlook have already been disclosed in our investor relations materials. So it is a natural move to simply have them included into our annual report. We were one of the first companies in Malaysia to adopt IR, and we did it 1 year after IR was introduced. As you can imagine, the ecosystem in Malaysia at that time was not yet conducive for it, and there were not many companies who could offer us guidance. IR requires integrated thinking and integrated communications, and one of the key challenges we faced internally was to change the mindset about how we report. We needed the different departments and divisions to work together, closer than ever, to develop the content for annual report. How we went around it was by seeking help from experts like PwC and Black Sun, who are actually experienced in IR. We also actively engaged with Bursa Malaysia and other regulators to carve out a workable roadmap for our IR journey. In Sime Darby Berhad's 7 years of IR, the focus has been on material issues affecting the company. I think this is the crux of IR, understanding what is material in communicating to our stakeholders and how we approach those material issues in our day-to-day operations. Adopting IR meant that we had to take a step back and assess the issues that are critical to our stakeholders and ensure that we address those issues with respect to running our business. This could include issues outside of our financial considerations. By identifying the material issues affecting the company, our annual report has been more focused and concise. Integrated thinking has promoted a more holistic assessment on how the different businesses across Sime Darby Berhad create value, how we are using all the resources available to us to ensure sustainable value for our stakeholders. In my opinion, integrated thinking as a culture or attitude should begin at the board level, and where the board's agenda are being determined. It should then be cascaded down and become part of the DNA of the whole organization, extending through the whole value chain. In IR perspective, integrated thinking is about linking resources and relationships, how they connect to the different functions and operations throughout the group, and support the group in achieving its strategic objectives. And it's not just about dollars and cents. Identifying our resources beyond assets and capex, and finding opportunities for all those resources to work together to create value. The process so far has made the many different functions and operating units across the group to have a more integrated way of thinking and a more holistic view about the company. The identification of material issues help focus the discussion on important ESG topics in the annual report. It also helps to link and integrate ESG matters with other areas of the business, from the business model to the strategies and operational performance. The focus on material ESG issues and integrating them throughout the annual report helps in the communication of the company's ESG agenda to various stakeholders. Prioritizing the reporting of material issues have made the annual report more focused and useful to stakeholders. As such, it facilitates our engagement with various internal and external stakeholders as the important information is actually in one report, and the flow and sequence of information assist in explaining the company's business model, strategies, and results to stakeholders. Sime Darby Berhad is recognized as the pioneer in IR in the country, and this has been positive for our brand and reputation among the investment community. The recognition received, for example, ACCA Master Award, PwC Business Trust Award, and NACRA IR Award in 2017 and 2018. Rather than using the annual report as a tool to solely report on our past year performance, IR has turned the annual report into a marketing brochure, a corporate profile, an investment proposal, and guide to our strategy. It addresses not one, but multiple stakeholders, both internal and external. Begin your IR journey now. Do not procrastinate, as the market is already moving towards best practices in corporate reporting. For example, Bursa requirement on management discussion and analysis has some elements of IR in it. Don't try to do all the improvements in 1 year. Break down your efforts and focus on the achievable parts first. Example, repackaging the information which you already have in your investor relation materials and websites. Support from the top is critical to ensure success in the IR journey. The drive for change needs to come from the senior leadership as well as the board. We need to be able to articulate why we need to make the change and the value it creates to the company. And at the start of the journey, don't discount the importance of working with an expert. Engaging an external consultant can assist the internal team to accelerate their understanding of the IR framework and the processes required to make the changes. Sometimes it is better to have an external party to convince certain stakeholders that we need to make changes on how we do things.